Welcome back. Chapter 18. What are you doing, Lo? Corinthia asked after I picked up the phone. Watching TV? What are you watching? How to Lift Saggy Skin? What channel is it on? I don't know. I pulled the covers off and pressed pause on a woman who had wings. What's wrong, Co? Poochie didn't call you yet? No, why? Is it her mother? She's gone, isn't she? Yes, her message says she passed yesterday evening. Yesterday? Did you speak to her? Of course I did. She sounded okay, but still, it's her mama. Doesn't matter how old she was. I lifted the comforter up with both feet and swirled it to the side. I think mentally she was prepared, but it's still devastating when it happens. Because we only get one mother. What can we do? Poochie's already done it. What does that mean? She already had her cremated and is going to spread her ashes out in the desert. What? No service? Poochie respected her wishes. So what's Poochie going to do now? I don't know. Before we left, she told us she didn't want to stay in Las Vegas after her mama passed, but she's got her surgeries to schedule, so we'll see. She hasn't scheduled them yet? I don't know if she ever really intends to do them. The recovery time is supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks for each one, and she already booked the cruise for May, and that money is non-refundable unless one of us dies, so we have to go. That being said, Poochie doesn't want to be there all by herself. You think she could come here to have her surgeries? I don't know how this stuff works, Co. Her doctors are there, but she could find new ones, right? We're her family. We could take care of her. I'll call her as soon as I hang up. In fact, I think I'll just drive back up there to see her. No, I won't. I'll fly. That way I can be there in 2 hours. You want to come? No, I can't. Why? Because Jalecia is missing. Since when? Since Tuesday. Is Peggy sleeping on her responsibilities? She's not responsible for Jalecia, Co, but she's been acting as her caregiver. She said she'd let me know as soon as she heard from her. Do you really trust that bitch? I'll put it this way. Technically, she's the only lifeline besides Cinnamon that I have to my daughter, and I believe Jalecia's well-being and safety are Peggy's primary concerns. I don't trust her ass. I mean, the first time we saw her in years was at Carl's repast. Where the hell has she been all these years? How should I know? But until I can figure out how to get Jalecia to trust me enough to get her some help, I just have to deal with Peggy. I think Jalecia needs to see a shrink. I wish Bird had been able to talk to one. Maybe he could have gotten help sooner. Black folks don't go to shrinks, I heard myself say. That's such an outdated stereotype, Laretha. How else are you supposed to figure out the shit that confuses us? Pray. I surprised myself by saying, well, God is not a doctor. I didn't know what to say to that. I'm not going to bother Poochie back. I'm not going to bother calling Poochie back. I'm just going to get on the plane first thing in the morning. Oh, by the way, I think I may have found the perfect spot for the house. There might be a snag or two, but location and square footage are perfect, and it's a still. I'll send you the link and you can tell me what you think. You might have to use a little imagination. I'll let you know when I land. I text Poochie my condolences and turned off the TV. I didn't want to watch anymore about other women's sagging skin. I had my own to pull at, and it covered almost every inch of my body. In the morning, I left Poochie a message, but when she didn't return my call, I sent her a longer text and told her that if there was anything I or any of us could do to help her get through this, to just let us know. I also told her that Corinthia should be landing by the time she read this. Within minutes, she texted me back and said she was grateful to hear from me, and Co had just reached out. She said she would call me as soon as she figured out what to do next. I thought the address the agent gave me had sounded familiar, so when I drove down Fair Oaks Avenue, I knew exactly what building I was going to see. It used to be a boutique I shopped at back in the day, but 5 or 6 years ago, the owner just upped and moved to Lake Tahoe. It's been empty ever since. No one else in our posse ever shopped there because the clothing and jewelry and even the shoes were too funky for them. But I never wanted to look like what I was wearing came from a department store, so it suited me just fine. Pasadena is old, and a lot of shops and storefronts, especially in Old Town, have been restored to preserve the Art Deco charm from the early 1900s. This building was 3 miles from there, but had the same charm. The shop was foam green stucco, and pale pink bald eagles with gold heads were perched on both sides. The door frame was dark oak, and the bevel glass was so thick I wouldn't have to worry it would break if someone slammed it. I cupped my palms on the side of my eyes to block out the glare and saw what was missing. Everything. I remember the long wooden case with the glass fronts where all the imported and handmade jewelry had been displayed. The owner was a beautiful woman with thick silver braids that went down to the middle of her back and the most sincere smile ever. She would hang all of my must-have items on a rack to give me time to change my mind. She didn't push. To the immediate right had been a wall of shoes and boots and sandals that looked like an art installation by designers you would never find in Macy's. And farther in, one step up, was another large room where they sold gorgeous velvet and silk nightgowns and pajamas that would make you feel like a movie star from the 30s and 40s. Carl loved seeing me and everything I bought from there. "Try it on for me, baby," he would say, and I would. And I'd feel sexy and glamorous and beautiful. As it turned out, the building was not for lease, it was for sale, which was probably why it hadn't been on the market for so long. That beautiful owner had passed away not long after she had moved to Lake Tahoe, and apparently her children had fought over the building all these years and then finally decided to sell it. With no racks of clothes to hide the cracks in the plaster and parts of the ceiling, floor, and walls, I realized this place would need to be restored. I didn't know whether it would be worth it. I would wait until Co got back. Maybe she could help me decide what I knew I had already decided. "Spend the money," she'd say. "Take the time to turn this in the coolest beauty supply in town." Excuse me. I'd find someone who knew how to design a store specifically for beauty products, so it would be more interesting than a generic Sephora, and because it was 3 times the size of the old house, I could also hire legitimate makeup artists who would do before and afters and styling appointments for graduations or weddings or any special occasion like they did at Nordstrom's. The difference is we will offer hand and foot massages, good wine, espresso, and sparkling water. And if Kwame was back by the opening, maybe he could make me some new playlists. "I'm probably next," Ma said. "Death can sneak up on you. Sometimes you don't know you're sick until you just die." "Come on, Ma, don't say that." She was sitting there in her gliding chair with knitting needles and orange yarn, but it didn't look like she was having much success. "What is that you're making, Ma?" She just looked at me. "What does it look like I'm making?" I couldn't say. Maybe it's too early to tell. I have no idea what it is. I just started taking knitting classes. "Is this why I haven't gotten any notes or anything from you in a minute?" "I suppose. I got bored doing it, and plus, I made a big mistake and lent my friend some of my stamps, but she passed before she could pay me back." "Well, I do miss them. And look," I said, and pulled out 2 sheets of stamps. She dropped her needles in her lap. She was wearing the exact same outfit she had on the last 2 times I was here. Pink sweats, pink sneakers. She snatched the sheets from me and looked at one and then the other. "I don't like these birds," she said, and handed that sheet back to me. "But I do like these mountains and fields and clouds and that rainbow. Thank you. I'll try to figure out if I have anything else to say or something I read that's worth sending." "I appreciate everything you have to say and the meaningful and funny clips too." "That's good, but not everything is as important as we think it is, and some things aren't worth remembering." This woman never ceased to amaze me. "Are you feeling okay, Ma? You sound kind of blue." "No, I've just been a little lonely. When you live in a place like this, it's not smart to get too close to folks. You don't see someone at breakfast or dinner and you ask where they are and you find out they passed the day before. I've lost 4 friends since I've been here, so I've just decided to stop making them." "I'm so sorry, Mom." "Me too. But anyway, how have you been?" I did not want to tell her more about Corinthia's son or Poochie's mother. I wanted to try to lift her spirits. "I'm good. Spent my birthday in Las Vegas with my girlfriends and we had a blast." "That's good to hear. Do you think you ever might want to entertain the company of a male sex again?" That caught me completely off guard. "What would make you ask me that, Mom?" "Don't you get lonely?" "Of course I do." "What do you do about it?" "I'll wait until it passes." "Carl died. You didn't. And after a year of mourning, I think you might want to think about doing something besides spending time with your old-ass girlfriends. Do any of them have a love interest?" "Well, Corinthia has been on a dating site." "That sounds like fun. Do you just click on a fella and if you don't like him, just send his butt back?" "Has she met anybody nice?" "Not yet." "You should try it. At least go have some coffee with someone. Just to get out of the house and away from B.B. King." "Wait, he's still alive, right?" "He is, Ma. In fact, B.B. is in love." "See there? Even old B.B. hormones still work. Anyway, Carl wouldn't want you sitting around watching TV all night. I'm sure of it. You can't grieve forever." "So, Ma, do you think one day I can pick you up and take you somewhere?" "How many times are you going to ask me?" "No, I'm fine right here. Odessa still wants to move into my house, but I think I changed my mind. I don't think she needs to live in that big house by herself. She claims she's getting some kind of lawsuit money. Always waiting on a settlement, that one, and already spending the money." "What do you mean?" "She went and bought herself a new car." "What kind of car?" "I don't know, not a Kia." "I've been thinking about giving the house to Cinnamon and Jonas and their twins." "Well, that'll surely piss her off, but I think that would be a very nice thing to do. Anyway, I will keep my mouth shut when and if Odessa mentions it." I stood up. Ma had her knitting needles in her hand again and was trying to mimic a picture on the table that illustrated how to hold them. "I don't think I'm going to be knitting you any socks," she said. "Now bend down here and give me a kiss." And I did, and she squeezed my hand, and I squeezed hers back. Excuse me. I was starving and decided I was overdue for a cheeseburger and fries. I had been good. I could count how many times I had since I got back from Las Vegas, which was almost 2 months ago. 5. I could also count how many times I went to Carlos and had their French toast with bacon. 3. I had not been in Roscoe's at all. Lucky was finally scheduled to have her gastric bypass surgery, and once she had it, she would have to pretend fried chicken and candy yams and honey cornbread would kill her. I thought that was a little dramatic, but it wouldn't hurt me to think that way too. And it was the first time I had ever known Lucky to say no to herself. "What can I get for you today?" The voice coming out of the speaker said. I was thinking BB King might want a hot dog to celebrate his birthday. He was now 10 in human years, so I ordered him one with nothing on it, and I would not let him eat the bun. Ma'am, will there be anything else besides the hot dog? Yes, I would like to have a double cheeseburger with a purple onion and a small order of fries. What kind of cheese would you like on that burger? The voice said. Cheddar. Oh, and you can also put pickles on it. You got it. Any of our delicious dessert strikes your eyes? Our apple pie is killer, and our ice cream sundaes are made with the best chocolate syrup. And there's a new flavor of ice cream to choose, strawberry cheesecake. I thought about that, but then I heard myself say, I'll pass on the dessert, but thank you for asking. My pleasure, ma'am. So that'll be $14.09. Just pull up to the drive-thru window. My name is Casper. Like the friendly ghost? Casper was a sexy 20-year-old kid with the most perfectly white teeth I've ever seen. His eyes were shiny black and his lips. Your food will be right up. I handed him a 20. Keep the change, young man. He looked down at the 20. Are you sure about that? Absolutely. You've been very polite and patient with me. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll be right back with your food. And he was. I put the big bag on the passenger seat, and just when I was about to put the car in drive, I heard Casper say, Wait a second, ma'am. And he handed me what I could see through the clear round top was a gigantic strawberry cheesecake sundae. She said she didn't want it. For being so generous. You have no idea what this means to me today. Thank you. You're quite welcome, young man. I set the sundae in the cup holder, and because no one was watching me drive, I kept sticking my index finger inside the little opening and pushing it into the cheesecake ice cream and strawberry jelly. So by the time I got home, there was nothing left of it. I pulled into the driveway and I hit the brakes too hard when I saw Kwame's name pop up on my cell phone. The empty sundae fell out of the cup holder onto the carpet, and I felt grateful. The reward I get for not practicing self-restraint. Mama Lo, are you there? He sounded so upbeat. Yes, I am, Kwame. How are you? How's your mama doing? Mama is doing much better. She's walking with a cane, but she can move her arms and turn her head, and she's talking great. How are you doing, Mama Lo? I miss you. And BB King. I'm so glad to hear that. Your four-legged friend and I are doing well. We miss you too. Well, I'm moving back to Pasadena and I'm bringing my moms with me. That is just wonderful, Kwame. Will she need any kind of medical attention though? She's been going to the rehabilitation facility here, but the house she lives in is being torn down to make room for some condos, and I don't want to leave her here, so she's coming. We'll find her a place to continue her therapy. She got Medicare and Social Security, even though it's not much. Well, I'm going to have a vacancy in the building. It's a 1-bedroom and not for another 2 months, but it's something. Were you trying to come sooner than that? I'm not sure. Don't you worry about any of this. I just wanted you to know I was heading back. Is my car still in the garage? It is, and I start it up whenever I remember. BB King always barks when I do because he wants to know where you've been and when you are coming back. He laughs. It sure is good to hear your voice, Mama Lo. And you've been doing okay, right? I have. How about your diabetes? Under control. For real, Mama Lo? I wouldn't lie about something this serious. I know, but I'm just checking. I thought about the sundae I had just devoured and my insides churned at my lie. And is Jalecia back on track? I wish I knew. Don't give up on her, Mama Lo. She'll thank you one day. I'm trying my hardest, but when you hold out a branch to someone and they don't grab it, it makes you wonder if they really want help at all. You have to get on her nerves and piss her off. That's really how she'll know you love her. Well, look, I have moms calling me, so look to hear from me in the next few weeks or so. By then, our plans will be firm. Oh, please tell Cinnamon and Jonas and the little ones I'm looking forward to seeing them, and that as soon as I get my mom settled, I'll be available to babysit free of charge. Love you. And I love him. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 18. Not much to say about this chapter. And let me make sure there's not much to say. No, not really. Yeah, no. Okay. I'll see you in the next chapter. Bye for now.